I think the way we think about evangelism in an Islamic country is so different because the government is so oppressive, and evangelism is often illegal, and it is illegal in Iran. So to see you and your friend distribute 20,000 Bibles is so impressive in itself, but then also that this evangelism was so well received is I think that would be shocking to a lot of people. I know many missionaries who have served in Muslim countries, and the reception is not that good. So I think maybe that does speak to something special that the Lord is doing in Iran. And I just love the vision of hope that you have and your love for the Iranian people. I'm curious right now, Iran's in the news, right? What do you think is the experience of people on the ground right now? How are they feeling? How are they interpreting some of the news that's happening? And I'm also curious how not only are they viewing what's happening, how do they view the West? Are they looking with the type of hope that you're looking at it with, where maybe we can have a country with freedom and with Western values? Or do you think there's some resistance there? You mentioned some of the indoctrination and the hate that is taught starting at a very young age in schools in Iran, hate against the Jewish people specifically in Israel, but also hate against the United States and the West. And I think that's a ploy for the Iranian regime to keep its power if all of their people are in support of them and hating the West. But do the Iranian people really feel that way? How do they actually see things?
Okay, before I answer your question, I just wanted to mention the news says that out of 75,000 mosques in Iran, 50,000 are closed. So that tells us what's happening inside Iran and how much Iranians turning their back to Islam. That's a good news. But about the current situation, as I mentioned, for so many years, the Islamic Republic regime tried to brainwash people. They forced us to stand in line to say death to America, death to Israel every day. And that's not just a chanting, that's their political that's their policy, and they strongly believe that, and they call America big Satan and Israel small Satan. So their goal is to destruction of these two countries, especially America, the biggest country, the greatest country on earth. But for so many years, they try to teach people why America and Israel are our enemies and we should fight against them. But praise God, they were not successful. And finally, after years, Iranians understood who are their true enemies. For so many years, for example, they would put the flag of America and Israel on the ground at schools and universities and force them to step on those flags. But nowadays, if you see the films coming from Iran, I shared some of them on my social media, Iranian people refuse to do that. And they are chanting that you are our enemy, not Israel, not America. And especially after Hamas attack on Israel, millions of Iranians show their support to Israel. They stand with Israel because they understood that we are fighting against the same enemy. And they understood this evil regime took the money and sent it to all their terrorist proxies, Hamas, Hezbollah, Houthis, all Islamic terrorists, instead of spending that money for Iranian people. They are tired of that. That's why that's a good thing that we see that what's happening. But after Israel, for so many years, Iranians asked Western leaders, please stand with us, please support us. For example, in 2009, that I was in prison, there was a big protest in Iran. They called it Green Movement. It was after fraud in election by President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad. And in prison, I witnessed how many people were tortured, were arrested, they executed them. And people came to the street and said, Obama, are you standing with us or with them? But what President Obama did, he shook the hands of the ayatollahs. He sent billions of dollars to the regime. That money went to the terrorist proxies to kill more people. So Iranian people got frustrated, disappointed that for so many years they are demanding, asking, please hear our voices and stand with us. But the Western leaders started appeasing ayatollahs instead of hearing the voice of people. But after this Israel strike against Iran, the first day I received films that how many people were happy. They were sending their messages outside. They were celebrating For Western people, it's difficult to understand this, that who is going to be their country to be bombed or their houses to be bombed. But the truth is that Israel is fighting against the evil Islamic Republic regime, which is the same enemy of Iranian people. And they are targeting nuclear facilities, military bases, and key IRGC leaders. And that's why Iranian people started celebrating that and sharing cookies and sharing the messages that finally someone came to help them. Because for so many years, there are lots of protests in Iran that the Islamic Republic regime killed thousands of people in each protest. They arrested hundreds, thousands of people. And Iranian people are saying that after Israel attack, the rate of death still is not even close to one protest in I forgot the date. In one of the protests that the regime killed 1,500 people, shoot at 1,500 people in the streets. They are saying that the number, even it's not close to 3 days that the regime killed 1,500 people in the streets. That's why they are happy and they are celebrating that someone, finally Western people and Israel, they are supporting Iranian people. But the Islamic Republic regime, they shut down the internet because they don't want people to have access to the news and to the outside. And they, some places are bombing and people have fear to escape. But still they are saying we are ready to pay the price, but to get rid of this regime. But they shut down the internet and they put all their security guards all around the country to suppress people. They started arresting a lot of Iranians with the charge of spying for Israel. Anyone who support Israel, say anything about Israel, they will arrest them. Also, I read the news, the judiciary system changed the definition of espionage in order to make it in a way easier for them to arrest everyone and charge them with espionage and without any trial. And they are saying, they are calling, Ayatollahs are calling for mass public execution. And they are saying that we need to repeat 1980s. What happened in 1980s, they executed 30,000 Iranians. And they wanted to do such a thing to make sure that Iranians do not raise up and to overthrow the regime, because they know their true enemy. It's Iranian people. They have less fear of the bombing from Israel, but they have much fear of Iranian people to make sure they do not raise up to overthrow the regime. Another bad thing is that because of the shutdown internet, people do not have access to know what's exactly happening and how many key leaders were killed. So this is the tactic by the Islamic Republic regime. But I wanted to say Iranian people are not the Islamic Republic regime. They love foreigners. They love America. They love Jewish people. And we have a great history more than 2,000 years ago, which started with King Cyrus that supported Jewish people and released them from their captivity. And other kings in the Bible, King Artaxerxes, King Darius, all of these Persian kings in the Bible, all of them supported Jewish people. So Iranian people wanted to have a friendship, to restore friendship with America, with Israel. They're so hospitable. And I can say Americans cannot believe if they travel to Iran, Iranian people will fight over them to host them in their home. They're so hospitable and they love other people of other countries, but unfortunately, this evil regime tried to show a different picture of Iran to the whole world. That's a shame that all around the world, even Iranians feel ashamed that being looked as terrorists, because Iranian people are not terrorists. They are kind, they are hospitable, and they wanted to have a good relationship with Israel and America, and hopefully we can restore this after the fall of this regime.